when we walked in, you were like, dude, he's here. He's here. And I'm like, who's here?
I don't remember that.
He's like, the guy. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, that guy? And you were like, yeah, that's the guy.
He was like right at a table serving, doing his stuff. And I was like, holy shit, that's him. I was more excited about the experience of like you not knowing what the fuck was going to happen and me knowing everything that was going to happen.
And I said, I think I left my watch roll sitting on the bed. We go upstairs and I walk into my bedroom and the watch roll is not sitting on the bed. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of searching around and you said, what's going on? And I said, I can't find my watch roll. And you said, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I'm serious. So I start opening bags. No watch roll. I'm looking under stuff. No watch roll.
And I could start feeling like, okay, Jason can't find it. Let me help.
I'm fully convinced at this point that we got robbed.
Like,
there are no watches that I can find. Welcome to an episode of Between the Lugs.
Woo.
I'm Jason.
I'm Felix.
And I will say this is going to be our very first episode that is going to be on its own channel, right?
Yeah.
So we're switching all of our podcast over to a YouTube channel called Between the Lugs.
Between the Lugs. Keep it simple.
All the other content will then be on the normal, the big channel of the Watch Bros. And so today we're going to talk about, we just came back from Miami. When you think of Miami, what do you think of? Like chicks and bikinis,
palm trees,
laying out,
coffee, food.
Wait a second.
I think our minds are...
We're thinking about two completely different things.
Both are accurate.
I'm thinking Lambos, right?
Ferrari.
Yeah, Ferrari.
Bikini babes, Botox.
I'm thinking Patek. I'm AP. Bro over here is talking about coffee.
I'm thinking Seiko coffee and palm trees.
So when you think about Miami, whether you're thinking about Seikos and coffee or you're thinking about bikinis and APs, you don't really think about being like watch theft.
No, yeah, for sure.
Right? You don't think about watches getting stolen. I don't. But today we are going to talk about our trip to Miami, what all it involved, and did I have watches stolen from me while I was down there. Before we get into it, do we want to do a wrist check?
Yeah, we'll do a quick wrist check. We'll start with your Patek.
Okay.
Patek.
So I'm wearing a Patek 5396G. Great watch, beautiful dial. It's just so proportioned. The spacing that they use on their dial is just almost perfection. And I love this watch. I still haven't gotten it fixed since Felix put the boo-boo on it right here.
Yeah, it looks pretty good though.
Oh my God. Yeah, easy for you to say.
It's characteristic. Well, that's not as cool as what I'm wearing. Today I'm wearing Martin Design watches. They're Tyrannus. I'm probably saying that wrong. It's the orange dial. It has the blue hands. A very good looking watch.
It's cool. I love its asymmetrical design. Kind of gives me FP Journe
a little bit, yeah,
Havana vibes. And the cool thing is we'll give this bad boy away eventually.
So one of you guys will be able to wear this same exact, not on this strap, sorry, but something similar, and you'll enjoy it. It'll be a good time.
Yeah. All right. Well, do we want to get into this wild, crazy trip to Miami that we took?
Yeah, I guess we'll start with why in the hell were we down in Miami?
Yeah.
Not for the bikini babes or Ferraris, unfortunately, but for other reasons.
We were down in Miami for a few reasons. One, my son is 15 years old, and he's going to be 16 not too much longer from now. Mm-hmm. So I found a car dealer that I bought a BMW X1 from. In my mind, I thought it was going to be a couple hours.
Yeah, maybe 2 hours.
We were there for like 5 hours.
Yeah, it was a long day.
Most
of our day was spent there.
That was a long day. But what I'll tell you, Vice City Deals is the website. If you're interested in a vehicle for a good price, or maybe you've got a kid that is driving or about to drive, I would go check them out. Mm-hmm. So then what did we do that night?
We ended up going out, so we were pretty hungry after waiting for 5 hours. Brand new restaurant. I mean, established maybe like 2 weeks ago. They have different other stores, but this is the first time that they've kind of been running the store for a couple of weeks now. We asked about like drinks,
like a cocktail menu.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, we can't do that right now."
I know. Felix and I are just looking like, excuse me?
Yeah, we see a whole bar.
Yeah, he's like, well, let me explain. He's like, we have a cocktail menu. I just can't give you a cocktail menu.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay. And he said, well, since we've only been open for 2 weeks and a liquor license is very hard to come by in Miami.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So lucky for you guys, drinks are free. We go ham. I order some wine. We order a couple of cocktails. They were going to limit it to 3 drinks, but we ended up having, I think, like 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5 each.
We could have had 5 more, to be honest with you. It was a great experience.
Oh, it was more fantastic towards the end. I don't remember much of it, but it was great.
Wednesday morning, we get up. I think we hang around for a little bit. We do some work in the hotel room, and then we get to go hang out with Adam at Menta Watches. Mm-hmm. So I've actually purchased a watch from Adam, and I've actually not revealed that watch to anybody except for our Patreon members.
Yeah.
So Patreon members do know what this watch is.
So if you're interested now, go check it out on Patreon. We have it posted over there. So.
But yeah, we ended up hanging out with Adam. I interviewed him for content for our channel. Great guy. It was, he's such a sweet human. He brought out a bunch of different watches for me to explore, to potentially shop. That's the content we created for him. We're going to share, I think, on...
more in depth later in After Hours.
On After Hours.
Yeah.
So if you guys are interested in what watches he brought out, which I'm going to tell you, there were some crazy pieces. If you're interested in that, go check it out on Patreon, because that's going to be our After Hours. We'll get into depth about what we thought, what we saw, how amazing it was, or maybe Felix didn't like it at all. We don't know. But yeah, go check that out on Patreon.
Yeah.
And then what did we do?
After kind of shooting with him for a little bit, by the way, Adam was very gracious with his time. I mean,
super gracious.
Very busy too. He was going in between shooting to answering a phone call, dealing with something. Okay, put this microphone back on. Let's shoot with this next thing. One of those phone calls was our favorite Irish lad. Sorry, your favorite Irish lad.
Yeah, Nico called him while we were there, and Felix turns to me and goes, man, that sounds like Nico. I was like, it is Nico.
A very distinctive voice. I'm like, out of everyone he's called on speaker, I could immediately tell. I was like, holy shit, that sounds exactly like Nico.
Right. And for Nico's, I'm sure he's not watching this video, but just for your sake, he did go walk away privately after.
To handle that.
He wasn't just like right there by us talking to Nico, but he did go walk away privately. So, but he came back, and then we kind of wrapped up. Mm-hmm. It was getting late. We go back to the hotel room, freshen up, and where did Felix want to go eat?
So if you have been alive in the internet, I guess Jason hasn't because he wasn't aware of this guy.
I had no idea who this guy was.
But if you've been alive in the internet the last couple of years, then you probably know of who Salt Bae is, right? Nurset, I believe, is his name. His restaurant is named after him. He ended up being at the restaurant. Yeah. And Jason doesn't know who the fuck this guy is. I'm like, okay, he's, Mimi. Like, he's not a celebrity for me. He's just like a guy.
Well, when we walked in, you were like, dude, he's here. He's here. And I'm like, who's here?
I don't remember that.
He's like, the guy. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, that guy? And you were like, yeah, that's the guy.
He was like right at a table serving, doing this stuff. And I was like, holy shit, that's him. I don't think I recognized. The lady did tell us he was there, but I was zoned out and I was like, oh, there he is. So I was more excited about the experience of like you not knowing what the fuck was going to happen and me knowing everything that was going to happen. Yeah. A little underwhelming in some ways. But,
a lot underwhelming.
But what did Salt Bae have on his wrist?
He had a Nautilus, and it was the bezel. I'm assuming it was done by Patek, but the bezel had diamonds on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we were pretty excited when we saw him. I didn't know who the guy was, but I was excited that he had a Nautilus on. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, bro, this guy, he must be a watch guy. This is going to be awesome. We know that chef's going to come out when the food comes out. Of course, he's right behind the food. He starts doing his whole deal with the cutting, and all the crazy antics that he has, and then he does the thing, and I turn to him like, "Hey man, nice watch," and dude just like didn't. He didn't respond at all, right? I don't know. It was super weird. It was very awkward. I could tell that I think I pissed him off because he was in the middle of whatever he was doing.
Presentation.
Yeah. And he's like, dude, I want my presentation. I want that, Felix, I want it to be recorded, and I don't want to be disturbed.
Yeah. He's like, fuck you and your watch talk. I want my meat on your table.
So literally he does it and he starts to walk away. And I'm like, yo. I was like, can I at least get a photo with your watch?
Yeah.
And he's like, what? And I'm like, a photo with your watch.
And then he like brands it. Like he tries to grab his food. And did you see that? He like grabbed the fries to make sure it's like in the shot and stuff. It's
yeah.
weird.
It was really weird. And then he held it there for all of 2 seconds.
Yeah. And then
it was like,
took the
boom,
photo,
and then boom.
Yeah. But he didn't put his meat in our mouth like he did other tables. So I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing.
I think I saved us.
Well, maybe if he would have done it to you, I could have snagged a photo while he was doing this.
No way. I would have done the whole meat in the mouth
for the watch bros, man. They wanted to see the wrist.
Dude. I saw the other dudes doing it, and I was like, "What are you guys doing?"
Yeah, they're all excited. They were like, I was pretty crazy.
They were pretty excited about him putting meat in their mouth.
I've never seen that before. Taking videos and photos. Me next. I'm like,
yeah, that's what we was doing.
No, don't do that to me, please. Maybe not worth the price that we ended up totaling at the end of the day. But everyone was very kind. Everyone was commendable. Even the people who weren't waiting on us was very generous with their time.
But before we went to the restaurant, we did go hop down to the design district.
Yeah,
if you were on IG or Patreon, you probably saw a couple of photos that I popped. We ended up first at Vacheron.
Yes, VC. It was his first stop.
Yeah, that was the first stop. They had a couple of cool pieces, nothing too crazy.
No.
They didn't have anything that we were really that interested in. So we hopped from Vacheron over to IWC.
Yeah.
That guy was he was very European, like Eastern European, wasn't he?
He looked Russian, but he wasn't Russian.
Yeah, but he was very stoic.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Very nice guy.
We explored a couple of their watches, Portuguese.
The new engineer.
Engineer.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah.
In 36?
Right. No, I put it in 40. Then we hopped over from there. We went to Cartier, right?
Yeah, over to Cartier.
So we went to Cartier, and Abraham is the guy that ended up helping us. Mm-hmm. And of all the places that we went, I would say that was probably the best. We had the most fun.
Yeah, it was pretty great. And I got to try on different size Santos because the first time I tried it, I think I weighed like 195, so my wrist size is very, very different.
Yeah.
I want to settle this, though, for everyone out there. Me and Jason disagree.
Okay.
I think for the Cartier Santos in stainless steel, larger is better, right? Large or extra large is the way to go, depending on your wrist size. And I think in precious metal or two-tone, I think smaller, like the small or the medium. You feel like...
If it's stainless steel, medium. If it's gold, medium.
Or small.
Or small.
Yeah, which, by the way, I think they're about to release a new size is what he told us over there, too.
Right. I just don't like the larger size for that style of watch.
That's so weird to me because I feel like the stainless steel is meant to be, like, ironically flashier than the gold. The gold is like, oh, I'm more sophisticated. I have precious metal on my wrist. I don't want to get it pinged up. But I feel like the large and the extra large for the stainless steel is like, bam, look what I have on my wrist.
It's just so big on the wrist. But,
I like it. It's a good look for me.
Listen, to each their own. Just for me personally, the medium is the right size. Then I was intentionally avoiding Rolex.
Yeah, but I stopped us.
And we had seen Rolex when we were walking around. I was like, dude, I don't want to go into Rolex. And you were like, dude, I think they got the Land Dweller on display over there.
Yeah, I was like, I'm looking through all the display cases. I can see the OP, the new ones, lacquer dial, over to the side. So I'm like, dude, what if they have the Land Dwellers out on display? Like, maybe not for sale, but available for us to look at. So
we turned around, and they had the big thing. They had it roped off. No other boutique was roped off. The Rolex boutique was roped off with a green carpet leading up to it.
It was pretty crazy.
But they were very welcoming. The guy that helped us was super nice. And they indeed had Land Dwellers there. They had the new OPs.
They had everything. Just about.
So I was able to try on the Land Dweller in both sizes. Mm-hmm. And now I can officially confirm that 40 mil is the size. I was leaning either way. I was like, well, I think I'd be happy either way. The 36 is just a little too small. You got to try on the Pistachio?
Yeah, I did. So they only had it in the 32, I believe,
Yeah,
which
it was
is not what I want. I want the 36. But it was cool to see it. Yeah, cool to see the dial on my wrist to see whether or not I actually wanted it before that day comes in 3 years when I get a phone call about it, when it's the 3 new OPs have came out. So the next day we ended up shooting with another content creator. I mean, almost didn't work out, but ended up working out because we were short on time.
Yeah.
And thankfully they ended up making some space open for us. And you guys may know him, may not know him. He's a little bit newer in the watch content creation scene, but has been around for a while. His name is Lex Borrero. He's 0260 on YouTube, Instagram, and what a wonderful studio.
It's pretty badass.
Yeah, I mean, really cool setup. Everything's branded really well. Stage set for his video podcast talk stuff. Very great team too. I think everyone's around my age or so. So a little bit of a younger team, and they're running creative division.
And I'll tell you, for as accomplished as Lex is, he was a very sweet, genuine, authentic guy.
Yeah.
Right? Name.
Because we're Hispanics, we all come off.
Rattle off some of the people he's worked with.
I mean, he top of the head, Jay-Z. I don't know if I can name the next one. Censor that.
Will Smith.
Selena. Tiny, who's one of the biggest Latino producers ever, which makes him work with J Balvin, Bad Bunny. I mean, amazing
dude has worked with some of the biggest stars, and like a very just relaxed, laid back guy in that setting.
Yeah, and
I'm sure he's a damn animal when it comes to producing.
For sure. And the cool thing, which I won't expose everything that we talked about because I interviewed him for our channel. You'll see that video come out soon.
Fire interview.
But he talks really a lot about his experience, kind of his life, persistence, and a little bit of like why he's starting YouTube now. And so I won't say everything, but you'll see the video when it comes out. It's a great interview, I think.
Yeah, we did skip over what happened to me the morning before we got to Lex's studio. That morning, you wanted to get up and get some coffee.
Yeah,
right.
Get some work done.
You found a place that we could walk to. It was about a half a block away. It wasn't far at all. So we do our stuff. We brush our teeth. We get everything ready.
Shower together.
Yeah. Actually, I think you just rubbed my feet.
Oh, okay. But that was my dreams.
So I'm trying to figure out what watch I'm going to wear. I decide which watch I'm going to put on that day. And we head on downstairs, and we're walking to the coffee shop. And I said, damn. And you said, what? And I said, I think I left my watch roll sitting on the bed. Mm-hmm. And you were like, uh-oh. And I was like, yeah, I know. If I was a smart man, I would go back up there and put those watches away.
Yeah.
And I was like, but whatever. We're only going to be half a block away.
Yeah, it's not that far.
We'll just go to the coffee shop. So we go to the coffee shop. We do a little bit of work. Felix spills coffee on his nice, beautiful, expensive laptop.
And the coffee mug broke.
It did break.
It like shattered.
To be fair, it did, yeah.
That's crazy.
So we had that ordeal. We finish up our work. We head back to the hotel so that we can completely pack and go head over to see Lex. We go upstairs, and I walk into my bedroom, and the watch roll is not sitting on the bed. Mm-hmm. And
which is where you said it was.
I walked back out into, it was like a suite, so bedroom, living room, kitchen area. I walked back into the living kitchen area, and I'm kind of searching around, and you said, what's going on? And I said, I can't find my watch roll. And you said, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I'm serious, but I'm staying calm. I'm sure it's here somewhere. I'm sure it's here somewhere.
Yeah.
So I start opening bags. No watch roll. I'm looking under stuff. No watch roll.
And I could start feeling like, okay, Jason can't find it. Let me help.
We're only 30 seconds in.
Yeah, 30 seconds in.
We're
by
30
now.
seconds in, but I've probably looked at 3/4 of the space already.
Yeah.
And, there is about $150,000 worth of watches in there. So my anxiety's going up slowly. I've opened every bag that I know to open.
And I told you specifically, I said, hey, bro, maybe just check, maybe you threw it in your luggage before you left, maybe like subconsciously.
Sure. So I walk over to my luggage that was on the floor. It was fanned out.
Yeah.
I kind of pull it up. I don't see a watch roll. Pull the other side up. I don't see a watch roll. And finally, we're about a minute and a half in, and I said, bro, I legitimately think we got robbed.
Yeah.
I'm fully convinced at this point that we got robbed. There are no watches that I can find. I can't find my watch roll. Legitimately,
anxiety's going up a bit.
I've looked through. I've looked in the shower. You know, like I've looked places where I know there's not a watch roll, but I've looked there just in case.
Yeah.
And I said, Felix, you stay here, keep looking. I'm running downstairs right now. Mm-hmm. So I get on the elevator, get downstairs. Concierge is at the desk. She barely sees me, and I slam my hands down on the thing, and I said, I need you to call the police right now. I've got $150,000 worth of watches that have been stolen out of my room. I need you to pull the video. I need to know exactly who was in my room. And she's like, yes, sir. Okay. And so she starts making a phone call so she can get video pulled. And I'm standing there, and I'm freaking out, and then my phone rings. And it's
me,
Felix, on the caller ID. I say, hello? He goes, bro, your watches are here. They're safe. They were inside your luggage. And, of course, I've made a huge scene down in the lobby. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll be right up. And I hang up. And then I turn back to the lady, and I'm like, we need to be calling the police right now. Because I felt so embarrassed. I just had to keep it rolling. Yeah. So I wait a couple of minutes. She gets off the phone. She's like, do you want me to call the police? And I was like, well, why don't you just wait and see if you get the video? I tell you what, I've got my business partner upstairs looking for the watches. I'm going to run back up and make sure that they're not there. And I will call you back if we find them.
Yeah.
But once you get the video, you can call me. And she was like, okay. So I run back upstairs, walk in. I still honestly halfway didn't believe you.
Yeah.
Like, I knew that they were probably there.
But you wanted to go make sure to see it with your eyes.
So I get in. Felix is like, dude, here's your watch roll. Open it up. All my watches are there. I was like, oh, what a fucking relief. So then I called the lady back and I said, hey, you remember me? Remember me? I was just down in your lobby. Of course she remembers me.
Yeah.
I'm like, we did find our watches. And she was so nice. She was like, oh, you did? Are you sure? I was like, yes, I'm sure. And she was like, okay, I'm so thankful. Thank you for letting me know. And then I got off the phone.
And I feel like to add on to like the worst feeling about this is the fact that you've said it out loud. Hey, I probably shouldn't have done that. I'm going to do it anyways. And then also you have a whole fucking video dedicated to making sure
I felt like the biggest idiot. It was just... that's why, besides the loss of those watches, I was just like, you are an effing idiot.
Yeah.
I can't believe you did this. You know better.
Yeah.
And I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
Ever will I do that again. I learned my lesson.
And thankfully, lesson learned without loss. So
lesson learned without loss.
Just anxiety. Lots of anxiety all around.
Oh, dude, it was so bad.
I secured mine that day. They were in my backpack. So
good for you.
Look, I learned from the videos.
You did.
Sometimes.
Yeah. You kept them on person.
My lesson learned, if there's any lesson for me, is if you go to Miami, be ready to have a good time. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Okay.
No context to that. You're not going to know what the fuck happened, but I know what happened. We'll see you guys over in After Hours for you Patreon members. We're excited to talk more about those watches if you want to geek out a little bit. Some really cool pieces out there.
Yeah, some dope pieces.
We have them all in footage for you guys. Please check it out. It's going to be awesome to talk through. But for now, thank you for watching on the new channel on Between the Lugs.
Yeah. The next episode, we'll do questions of the month.
Questions of the month, again, from our Patreon members. So... again, if you want to ask us questions, you want to get more in touch with us, check us out on Patreon. It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
We have some really cool stuff in store. I feel like I say that every video, but we really do because we always have something cool happening. So, yeah, get in touch with us, touch us, have a good time. In Miami.
Don't touch us.
Salt Bae, maybe. We'll see you in the next one.
All right. Bye, y'all.